Hey guys, I know we're a couple weeks into 2025, but we wanted to get together and put together a little show with some of our favorite clips from this past year. We want to say that we appreciate all you guys listening to us and supporting us and having a good time with us because we know we're sure having a good time doing this little podcast. So, having said that, here's some of our favorite clips from 24. Let's get at it.
Yeah, they tuned in, it's the Dude Bash rolling deep. Mic check like that, let's hit a beat. Voices flowing like the river, knowledge on the spree. Every episode and journey, come ride with me. Just hit play, it's a vibe, can't you see? The Dude Bash, we breaking it down. From the underground to the top of the town. Life's effects, intertwined, wearing the crown. Podcast kings and queens, we wearing the gown.
Funniest thing this man ever did that I thought was great was I think it was 4th or 5th grade. He done that nunchuck presentation.
Oh my God.
Dude, when he started whipping himself with the nunchuck, that's what made me, dude, I love that. I still think of it.
First off, what school lets you get it in front of a class and work? Inglewood School. Yeah, Inglewood.
Always up to no good.
Throwing around the nunchuck wood in the class.
Go to bull crap school that we go to. We got kids working nunchucks in front of the class.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that those were like contraband weapons back in the day. Yeah. I mean, what kid takes nunchucks to school to begin with? Oh, they'd shoot that kid in the parking lot today if somebody get out of the car with some nunchucks. Not only did they let me work them in front of the class, they marched me to each individual class and made me keep doing it.
Dude, he brought a whole sleeve of throwing stars.
They was having a big time watching you beat the hell out of yourself. This guy looks like he's Opus Day out here.
Oh, wait, why do I not distinctly remember this? Why do I not remember this?
Listen,
It was
you must have laid out that day.
I guess I did, because I would have laughed my ass off if I'd seen that.
You know, the bad part about that is I remember it vividly. I was so poor, I couldn't buy nunchucks, right? That was a baby blue broomstick that was cut to make 2 nunchucks, and it was tied together with string. Oh man. You almost had one of them telephones, man, the can to can with the string. It was awful, man. Who let me do that, man? First off, they should have been like, why do you have nunchucks in your backpack?
You bring nunchucks to school. Why do you bring weapons to school, man?
Here's what happened. They heard about the whole Christmas fiasco, and you rolled up there with some nunchucks. They was like, we can't let him do this. I'm not getting divorced. We're going to let him do what he wants. Puke all over us.
Puke all over everybody.
Yeah, he had throwing stars. I mean, this guy.
I thought I was a ninja. I thought I was going to move to Japan to become a ninja, man. That ain't no lie. The Caucasus.
Yeah, I tell you, I Corky, you may or may not remember this, but there was one day, I think it was 4th or 5th grade. The teacher, when we went out to recess, told you to come hang out with me during recess.
Listen.
And we sat up there against the fence, and you picked out these blades of grass, and you were talking about, man, you ever smoke grass?
Listen. Listen, I was never going to mention that, but since you brought it up, like,
and nobody liked me back then.
by no means was I some like popular kid in school, right? But I guess I had a little posse I was with, and I remember, I think it was Miss Brock or somebody like that.
It was your posse was the White Pythons. That was your posse.
Yeah, but she come in and said, she whispered in my ear and she said, "Hey, Daniel's over there."
Go ahead and say it, man. I know. I can take it. I can take it.
You're gonna take it. That's what
I can take it.
Daniel ain't got no friends. Go hang out with me. I said, okay, I'm there. So I went over and I started hanging out with Daniel. But I guess it was cool, man, because we was friends ever since. But, I never will forget. She come up and was whispering to me, and she said, go hang out with him. He ain't got no friends.
He's got no friend. I think Justin Lee was out that day.
Yeah, Justin must have laid out. It's just
Do what?
What was you gonna say? A second ago.
I remember when I met Corky, we had met over trading Nintendo games. I do distinctly remember him before that, and we got to talking. He had a Walkman on. We was on the playground, and I said, "What you listen to?" He said, "Some 2 Live Crew."
In the 4th grade.
I hadn't heard of him. So he goes, here. And I heard it. And I was like, that's pretty funny. I like it, man.
God, what kid has 2 Live Crew in the 4th grade, man?
I'm pretty sure your mom had insurance on you, man. She was trying to get you killed.
I didn't have a chance thinking about it. I
Well,
really
man,
didn't.
she was too busy taking you to the gates of hell whenever you was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Here's some nunchucks I made for you.
And you got to go watch your dad. Man, I want to go watch movies with your mom and your grandma, man. It's just some cool stuff, man.
Yeah, it was great.
I would get so mad at him because we'd be doing something and we'd go down to Ed's where she was working.
Yeah.
And Corky, he was like, man, I'm thirsty. And I was like, all right. He goes, let's go to Ed's. Mom will get us something.
Yeah.
So we'd go there and we'd pick out whatever we want. He'd get up there at the counter and she'd be like, you ain't got no money. Would say, I thought you was going to pay for it. And she'd say, with what?
Hey.
Take it back.
You had to take it back?
I'm sure I did.
Yeah,
No, man, I tell you, because in grade school, me and Mitchell never got along, right? Okay.
You're right.
So, I remember, you remember the square dances down there that they had in town? All right. So
Yes.
for some reason, we all met up at this square dance, and it was me and you, and me and Corky and Matt and Mitchell, and we all went into Reedy's. And Mitchell had money. I didn't have no money. Hell, nobody had any money but him. And he walks in, and everybody starts getting a Coke, right? And I'm like, man, if I get a Coke, this thing's gonna beat me up. So I didn't get a Coke, and he goes, "Oh man, what are you doing? Go ahead and get a Coke." And I was like, okay. So I started looking for the cheapest thing. God, because I didn't want him to beat me up no more.
Oh my God.
Man, I tell you what, favorite Reedy hot dogs though.
Yeah, baby, praise God.
Oh yeah, they said over 1 million hot dogs sold. I wasn't even from Inglewood. I ate 1 million by myself.
That million was to me, yeah.
Now, I have never to this day eat a hot dog that good.
No. Closest she'll get around here is BJ's in Athens.
Yeah, BJ's in Athens.
It's close, man. They was something that Reedy did. Just made those so good.
You know what? My mom made them, and she still could never replicate it, and she knew how to make them. Yeah.
Hey, now listen, now Barry's and Etowah had good hot dogs too. That's the same place. It was right across the street from Etowah City School on 8th Street.
Oh, yeah.
You could walk over there. If you could see over the counter, he'd sell you a pack of cigarettes. But I always got a hot dog and a Pepsi with my pack of cigarettes when I was a kid. It was good times. He'd sell. He would even sell them to you individually because he knew it was hard for kids to hide packs of cigarettes. He'd open a pack, say you one for a dime, and then inflation took over and it was a quarter. I bet that son bitch made $1 million just on individual cigarettes.
I bet he did too. I remember you telling me about that back in the day, man.
Yeah, man, that's how I got my smoking habit fetish.
Well, how I kept mine was because my mom smoked. Well, everybody in my family smoked, but they would send me to, or my mom would send me to Ed's, And I would go into Ed's and I would say, hey, you know, I'm gonna get this pack of Marlboro Light 100s for my mom. And they'd sell them to me, and then they would look out and see my mom sitting in the car, you know. And so I'd get them, and we'd go give them to her. And then I got to where they trusted me, right? So I'd just go up there and get my own, but I had to smoke Marlboro Light 100s or else they'd be on to me. They'd be like, your mom didn't switch to Reds. What are you doing, you know? So I had to smoke Marlboro Light 100s until I was almost 18.
Golly bum. That's crazy.
To Rocky Top and rob it before they'd come to school, and they were selling,
man.
They were selling candy and cokes and stuff out of their backpacks.
That was me, baby. Come on.
Yeah, was that you?
Heck yeah, it was. That's how I paid for my lunch, baby.
Because the reason y'all got caught then was because Miss Carter was walking down one of the aisles and she kicked one of the guys' backpack. And
Yeah.
I know
All
that
that candy fell out of it.
dude, she opened that. She made one of you just open that up, and they was like 6 foot deep and full of candy, condoms, and everything else.
Yeah, they ain't no, hey, dude, they go in there every morning and rob that place blind, and then go back to school and sell every bit of it.
You would do this?
I swear to God, I would. Yeah, I ain't proud of it. I ain't proud of it. You know?
Sounds to me like you're going to hell, Corky.
Hey, listen, I had to do what I had to do back in the day. You heard me?
But man, I'll never forget that day. I'm sitting there because we were doing English. We did an Edgar Allan Poe thing.
Annabelle Lee. We had to recite Annabelle Lee in the 7th grade.
Because Miss Carter was walking up and I don't know who bag she hit. Might have been
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis, yep.
And she nearly fell. And she was like, that bag's a little heavy. And he goes, because I think it was him, he goes, okay. She goes, I know there ain't books in there. Let's open it up. And he started like getting all aggressive. Well, she finally made him open it. Man, I swear to God, the candy that was in there. He was still in the boxes.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Oh,
Bunch of delinquents. The scariest thing for me, all right, I got 2 of them.
all right, let's hear it.
They were both equally as scary, and both instances was around the same time. So I don't know who this person is that's asking this question, but we'll kind of be talking to you here. Back when me and Travis and Corky and Matt were in high school, we started fooling around with these Ouija boards. And I was living in a house. My mother actually still lives in the house now. But before then, we never had any problem with paranormal. House never felt weird. Never seen any kind of ghost or anything like that. So Travis's stepmom, or I guess ex-stepmom from a long time ago. I don't know how many wives that Kurt's been through since her. I don't know.
Just one. He's a hopeless romantic.
She brought a Ouija board over, and she set this Ouija board up in the kitchen. They used it. All of them did. I didn't really have a hand in it when this thing was brought over, but all of them did. Use this Ouija board, and after that, it kind of inspired me and Matt and Corky and everybody to kind of get our own Ouija boards. So we ended up getting our own, and we started using them, and we didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't know how to close out the sessions right. And so it left a lot of open doors. So I think part of that is what caused a lot of the stuff that was going on at my house. So you fast forward this by a year or two, and I was somewhere around sophomore, junior year of high school, and I'm laying in my bedroom. Back then, I was didn't have my brother in there. He had already moved rooms, so it was just me. And I had 2 windows in the bedroom, and the way that my bed was situated, you couldn't see the area that my bedroom door was in, so it was complete dark. And I got scared in there a lot because you could just feel something standing in there watching. There was all kinds of black shadows and black corners and whatnot that something could be standing there. And the activity ramped up to a point to where I actually started hearing voices. And so one night I'm sitting there and I'm just acting stupid because I'm scared and I'm trying to go to sleep and I can't make myself go to sleep. I got too much anxiety. And so I'm singing along with this song, except I'm singing it kind of silly. And something from the corner that I couldn't see told me to shut the F up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like that's the exact words. And I don't know what it was. It was over there by the bedroom door. So
Somebody that didn't like your singing, that's for sure.
well, it was scary. So that's one of the scariest times. The other scariest time for me was around the same time, and it was at the apartments, Cherokee Hills apartments. And we were standing there on the soccer field. I'm not real sure what it is now. It used to be a baseball field, then it became a soccer field. It overlooked the apartments. But
Yeah, over on the other side of the tennis courts, whatever, on the hill.
Yeah.
I think it's still a baseball field now.
So we were all standing over there, and you can back me up, Corky, because you were there. But it was about 2 or 3 days after this lady in a second story apartment in one of those buildings freaked out. She freaked out, had some kind of breakdown, said that she saw something. Don't know.
I remember that.
She left, right? So they've got the apartment empty. And we're all standing there playing football out in that field. And we all look, and there was a transparent shape that stood in front of the window. It like walked from one side of the room, stood in front of the window, and it was the upper torso of something. And it was completely transparent. It was the black background from the window, and it showed up, and it was white, but you could still see kind of the shape. And it stood there and looked at us. And it sit there and looked at us for a good minute or two, and then it's like it just turned and walked away.
Bro, I forgot all about that, man. I remember. That's crazy.
And those two instances right there are the scariest times that I can remember.
Remember they used to put the baseball cards in the cereal boxes. I mean, back then, you got toys in cereal boxes.
Yeah, what happened to that, man? It's like the free Lipton original, Daniel. Why can't you go to the store and get a 20-ounce drink and maybe win a free drink out of it, man? How cool was it to when you open up that lid to get it'll say free 20-ounce? Come on, Coke, bring it back, baby. Pepsi, do it. Let's go. I challenge Coke or Pepsi to bring that back. Let's go with it, man.
Both.
Dude, those little caps saved my life one day in Nashville. I starved to death trying to be a rock star. I won 5 in a row, free 20 ounces. If it hadn't been for those, they'd have found me dead on the side of the road in that heat.
Hey, I had the same thing happen to me, man. Me and my buddy Spike was walking home one day, and he lived over in Clem Jones up in Athens. You heard me? And we'd been walking. I don't know what we was doing, but man, we was like, you seen the movies where people in the desert and they're crawling, and you see like a mirage in front of you. That's where we was, man. We was walking in front of this gas station, and he looks down, picks up a lid, and it said free 20-ounce on it. We was like, the Lord has saved us. So we go in there to get us a free 20-ounce, right? And the dude's like, you still got to pay tax. And we didn't have no money. And somebody standing in line was like, here, man, I got you. And he like gave the 14 cents or whatever it was. Hey, I'll tell you, I swore I'd never do this while I was here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just because I don't care. We moved into this house going on 5 years ago. And this house was built in 1864. So it makes it, I think, about 160 years old, something like that?
Exactly.
So Lord only knows what's went down within these walls of this house, I can walk through the house and I can look on the floor and on the walls and there's marks and stuff. And then you can wonder what made that mark, because 160 years, that's like 3 lifetimes for somebody, you know what I'm saying?
More than
So
that, because we ain't gonna make it to 80 or
you never know. So we move in here, and I knew coming into it, I knew something because, I like the air just a little thicker when you come in, and I thought to myself, it's just, the house is old. You're spooking yourself out, Well, we move in and the first month, everything's kind of goes real good, but I started noticing something because we live in Sweetwater, but we still took our kids. All my kids were still in school when we moved in here. So we took our kids all the way to Central to school because I'm not going to make my kids switch schools, especially when one of them's a sophomore and the other one's a junior, they've got their stuff established. Anyhow, so every night we'd have to go get the kids and bring them home. So we'd be and I noticed the closer we got home, the more we would all just get pissed off and start fighting with each other. And, and I've studied the paranormal a lot, and I know that that's one of the telltale signs that something's going on is when it starts affecting people's emotions and stuff like that. But still, I let it go. And it would never fail, man. We live right here by the high school in Sweetwater. And when we'd go past that high school and we'd be about a football field from the house, we just start fighting. I mean, it's just ridiculous, And, you'd be sitting at the house, you'd hear stuff moving. Of course, we'd be like, oh, we're just not used to the sounds of the house yet, always trying to play it off, Well, I don't necessarily think I would see stuff starting out, but I would sure feel it. I've always thought, man, I remember Daniel, like when I was in your room that night, I can feel when something's around me, and I would feel that every time I would come in here, especially in my dining room. You can go in there to this day, and like I have 2 60-something pound boxer dogs, right? And my one dog will always hide behind the door. She won't even go into the room. And I've got pictures I'll show you guys. She'll go hide behind the door and just will peek out around it. She won't even come into the room. And you can go in that room and it's just automatically, not as much now since we've taken care of the situation, but when we first moved in, you wouldn't even want to go in that room because it just felt so weird. And so you started having little incidents like that. And one day my little niece and nephew's over here. And you got the dining room to your right if you're looking into the house. And to the left, there's a staircase that goes up to the second floor. Well, we have my little niece and nephew over here. And, they're playing, doing whatever. And my nephew stops and he looks into the dining room. And he starts going, kids. We're looking over and we're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he goes, kids. And we're like, nah, there ain't no kids in there, buddy. So we took him, on to the hallway. We got into the hallway and he ran into the bathroom, just started crying. He looked in there, seen something, made him cry, And then you're talking about kids that's 3 years old. They're not old enough to be wondering, about a ghost or anything like that. We're talking 3 years old. So at that point, I looked at my wife and I said, I think we got a problem here. And so we go on and on. You had your typical haunted house stuff. Well, one day I'm at work and I get a call from my wife. And she calls me and she says, hey, she's in our upstairs bathroom. And she says, hey, I have been trapped in the bathroom for 45 minutes and I can't get out. And I said, what do you mean trapped in the bathroom for 45 minutes? She said, Corky, I'm in the bathroom. There's something outside. I hear it, and I cannot leave the bathroom. So at this point, I jump up, and I leave work, and I start heading home. She calls me hysterical, and she said, I opened the door, and I just ran. I said, get out of the house. Don't go back in the house. So at that point, I get home and I realize, we got a problem because my wife has been trapped in the bathroom for 45 minutes now. I don't necessarily think nothing was holding the door shut and wouldn't let her out, but she was frozen in fear, if that makes any sense. And so I just somebody got some negative feedback going on.
Daniel, you got some feedback, buddy. I had mine muted.
I think Daniel's got a train going on in the backyard.
I'm muted. Yeah, I got a train going on.
But anyhow, so I tell my wife, I said, hey, this ain't cool. We got to do something, So at that point, we go into the house. I have 3 kids. And we call like Jace, my older son, he's upstairs. Braden's upstairs. I called him down. I said, hey, this happened today. Are you guys and when I said this happened today, at that point, all 3 of my kids start crying. We had all been individually having stuff go on, but none of us were telling each other about it, And when I tell you, my son breaks out in tears, this is a, junior in high school, middle linebacker, football player. He was a tough kid, and he breaks down and he said, I don't know why I feel this way, but I'm just always so angry, So whatever this was dealing with our emotions. So this whole story is building up to this. One of the scariest points in my life was, you had this dining room there. Our bedroom is in the room in front of the dining room. Then you have like a foyer where the staircase is at, and then beside the foyer is the living room. There was a point when we lived here that everybody in my house was asleep in my bed, in my bedroom. And then I had 2 kids sleeping on the couch in the living room because we was all too scared to go to our bedrooms. And it was so bad, I was standing in the foyer in between the living room and the bedroom. And I had to stand guard and watch my kids sleep and my wife sleep because I was afraid to go to sleep and not know what was going to happen between them. So my scariest point, there's a lot more to this story. Like I said, I'll tell these stories as the days go by, but I stood there and had to watch guard over my family because of what was happening in my house. That was one of the scariest moments in my life. Check this out.
Hey, you remember that?
Go ahead, Matt.
It's that same Coke machine. Remember, Corky? I think Danny, you was with us too. We used to shoot basketball across there at the bank, and then me and Corky is like, man, I'd like to have something to drink. And me and Corky walked by, and he hit it in a free Coke.
I forget what the trick was, but I could always get free drinks out of that thing, man. So I forget what I would do, but I could get them anytime I wanted a drink. I could about get it out of there.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I said, Corky, give me a Sprite, and he'd hit it, and a Sprite would come out.
Oh God.
We drank a lot from that machine.
Yeah, we did, boy. God, it was either that or go across the street to that church and drink out their water hose.
Yes.
Basketball goal sucked that they had in that bank parking lot, though. It had like 4 rims on it.
Bro, that sucker's still there.
No nets, just the rims.
No net.
There was nothing as worse as over at the First Baptist Church before they added on, and they had that really slick concrete.
Yeah.
God, you go up for a layup, and you slide and bust your head wide open. That stuff was slick.
God, yeah, especially if it just rained or something.
Yes.
That one at the bank parking lot, that had so many rims on it. It was like shooting basketball at Dollywood. You know how hard it is to make a shot.
And it's also
Dollywood.
like 12 feet high. It's higher than any other rim out in the world.
True too.
God.
That's all I do when I go to Dollywood. I stay over there throwing them footballs, shooting basketballs. I'm too delicate for roller coasters.
Right over there in front of the Tennessee Tornado, that one right there.
Yeah.
Where they sit there and they make fun of you while you're shooting. Go ahead, man.
I remember down at the park where they would that basketball goal was pulled down, and that's the only way Corky could dunk because it was like. And every time he would dunk it, it didn't have a net. So every time we'd dunk it, it'd go rolling down the hill, and he'd start cussing. And he'd go down. I said, well, then stop doing that.
Oh, my God.
He dunks it like Shaquille O'Neal, and it goes all the way down. He goes, I'm not getting it. And we leave, and he just leaves the basketball. He wouldn't get it.
You screw that ball, man.
Walk to my
God.
house, still walking the 5 yards to go get the ball.
He had to walk over and get a Coke out of that Coke machine there.
Yeah.
He's gonna get you a free Coke though, but he ain't gonna get no basketball.
Hey, I remember. Y'all remember Bill's? I remember the Coke machine that used to sit out in front of Bill's. We got to where we could reach our hand up in it and pull drinks out of it too.
I remember doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all are the sole reason why Inglewood is bankrupt.
Speaking of Bill's, man, I went into Bill's one night, man, and I ate a hot dog from Bill's, right? And I was going to spend the night with Jeremy Martin. Yeah, he had a hot dog. He had barbecue sandwich. He had all kinds of crap. But I got a hot dog in there, and I had to go spend the night at Jeremy Martin's house that night.
Oh my God!
So I'm over at Jeremy's house,
I'm sorry.
and I'm sitting in his bedroom, and I'm like, bro, I'm getting sick. He's like, nah, you ain't, man. Just sit there and whatever. I said, nah, man, I'm getting sick. And I took out of his room, and his mom and dad just had brand new carpet installed, white carpet. and it was Christmas time, so they had a Christmas tree up, right? Bro, I spewed from his bedroom all the way through the living room, all the way over their Christmas tree, their presents, everything, until I got to the bathroom, and I sit there for 2 hours till they had to take me home because we didn't have no phone at that time, so nobody could call my mom to come and get me.
You're a terrible person, man.
You're gonna
Terrible
get your
person.
man's Christmas tree.
Oh, it was awful, man. And his mom was so mad. She was like, I can't believe you. She said, she's yelling at Jeremy. She said, why'd you bring him here when he was sick? And dude,
It was Bill's did it.
she was in there yelling at his dad. She made him go all the way to Bilo to get a carpet cleaner. And this was at like 9 o'clock at night. And she's yelling, she's like, why would you bring him here sick? And I'm in his bathroom sitting there listening to all this, and I'm the sickest I've ever been in my life. I had food poisoning, like I should have died. And
Poisoning.
it was awful. She was like, I don't know why you bring him here with him sick like that. Mom, he wasn't sick.
Corky been tearing families apart since 1994.
Listen, and to this day, Jeremy won't never tell me that it's true, but I know that's why his mom and dad got divorced.
Because of that.
I caused that divorce, man. I know.
You puke on my tree, son. I'm ending it all. We're all dead.
Somebody's house and
Just
puke on their brand new.
It completely. Ruined their whole Christmas presents and everything, man.
Yeah, they tuned in, it's the Dude Bash rolling deep. Mic check like that, let's hit a beat. Voices flowing like the river, knowledge on the spree. Every episode and journey, come ride with me. Just hit play, it's a vibe, can't you see? The Dude Bash, we breaking it down. From the underground to the top of the town. Laughs and facts, intertwined, wearing the crown. Podcast kings.